Welcome back to the Docker course of CodeMaven. This time we are going to look at the Docker Hub and searching for Docker images. So just to remember, the slides are here. I actually jumped right there to the slides. And in the slides, there is a link to the Docker Hub, which you've already seen actually. Now I'm visiting it again. So to show it to you, you can sign up and log in and actually have an account there. But that's only needed if you would like to upload something, which is not what we need now. So on the Docker Hub, there are tons of images of Docker images, ready-made Docker images that you can use. And let's just search for a few ones. So for example, Ubuntu. Okay, so you can get the Ubuntu distribution. You can tons of them. Okay, tons of different ones that mention the word Ubuntu. You can actually filter it to verified publisher or official images or Docker certified. So you can filter various ways the images to select the one that you need. The search usually works fine, but you can filter it down. The same way you can say CentOS, for example, CentOS. So you can say find different distributions, Linux distributions, and then start from the basics of those operating systems. But you can also pick a programming language. So for example, Python, and you will find a Docker image that you can use, and then so you can download and use the image, and it already has Python installed with all kind of configuration that fits the best for Python development. The same, just to show you, there is also for Perl. Okay, so for example, for Perl, a Node. Okay, just to see another language. So you can have all of these. Then you can also have others like Mongo Express. You can see here. I'm not exactly sure why did it show up. It's something to do with Node apparently. But let's say MongoDB. So I'm searching for, and now I found an image or many images that can hold a MongoDB database. So you don't have to worry how to do this. And if it's not clear yet, it takes some time. It took me quite a while. The way you should use and the way Docker works is for every service you have its own image and its own container. So when your application has some code in some language, let's say Python, and it uses a database, let's say MongoDB in this case, then you need two Docker images at least. One of them running the MongoDB database, and the other one is running your code. And then each service can have its own separate um, Docker image and Docker container in the end, and that's how it works. And then you can set them up and load them immediately by one click, basically, or by one command. So this is MongoDB, and then what else shall we check? Oh, so there are other things that you can use, like ready-made applications. So for example, WordPress, right? WordPress. It's an application. It's a web application to write to create a website or create a blog or a platform for applications. And actually, it's one of the most popular ones. And installing it is not very difficult, but it needs a database, it needs this and this net, that's all kind of parts. In this one, you have one image that probably contains the code. I'm not exactly sure how to set up everything, so you have also the database and all the parts, but you already have the image for WordPress. Similarly, you can, for example, GitLab, right? So GitLab is a service that provides you something is not working right now. That's so now it's better. So it provides you a Git version control server, just like GitHub or Bitbucket. And the third one is GitLab that can be used in the cloud, but GitLab specifically can also be downloaded easily and installed on your premises, and then you don't need to give your code to someone else, so you can host it locally. And here is there's a Docker image that you can use to use that. Now in the next video we're going to see how we can do this. Okay, so actually no, it's only 4 minutes, so we can actually go back to the slides and see how it's done. So oh, one more note here before we actually show it. So there is this link that leads to the source of the official images. So it's not only that you can find the images, you can actually find the source code um, of how these images were created. So you can verify things or you can learn things, and that's one of the key issues that open source provides, or key features that open source provides, I think, that you can learn from the source code of all of these applications, or in this case images. And so I recommend to look at them and see how these were put together. Also, actually, on the Docker Hub, if I go back and then let's say I click on the GitHub edition, then you'll see here all kind of explanations, including somewhere you should see how it's being put together. I'm not sure why it's not. I don't see it here now. Sometimes you can see how you can use it, what kind of commands you need to use, and so on. Now back to the slides. Actually, the slides here. In the next page, you can see that how can we actually use Docker image, Docker container. So let's say we've decided that we would like to use Ubuntu, and then we already saw that we can say Docker run, and it will automatically download the image and then start running. But actually, this it contains two steps, and the Docker run. It downloads the image and then runs it for the first time. If we don't want to run it immediately, we just want to download it, then we can use the docker pull command. So it says docker pull and give it the name of the image. And then not only the name of the image, we also need to give it a tag. We can use here all kind of, let's go back and see this one. So let's go back to Ubuntu. Okay, and in this Ubuntu image, you can see that it has, hopefully we can see it, yes. So you can see the various tags. So you can select exactly which one of the Docker, of the Ubuntu images you would like to use. And you could use the word latest, probably here as well. Usually there is a latest, which is just the latest version of whatever this series of images has. But it's usually not that such a good idea, because then underneath things can change. So when Ubuntu releases a new version, then the latest will point to this newest version of Ubuntu. And you don't want to automatically be upgraded. So it's usually much better to pick up a specific version. For example, here you can use 18.04 or 20.04 or all kind of other names I think you can use for that. And that will point to, it won't be exactly a fixed version, right? Because Ubuntu also gets all the time gets upgrades, security fixes, and other patches. So it won't be exactly the same image every time you download it, or every place you download it, but it should be close enough for you to rely on this. So back to the slide. This is what we need to type in. So I switch to the terminal and I type in docker pull and the name of the image, Ubuntu, and then the tag, which is 20.04. And then when I run the code, it will start downloading the image of this defined by this tag. And then that was quite fast. And now I can actually run it, so I don't need to do anything else. Now I can run it. You might remember that I have the --rm, so once the execution is done, once the container is finished, then we won't keep around the dead container. So that's it, and I run it, and well, it executed. It didn't do anything. So what do we need to do in order to see something? We might probably want to give it -it, so it's going to be interactive. And then yes, now we started to run the container, and we entered the container. So now we are inside, and here you can give whatever commands you'd like. So for example, you can just type in ls-l, and that's now you can see the file system of the container. If you go back to the slide for a second, then go to the next page actually, here are a couple of ideas what to do. So in this example, what I showed, the first one, it was running the minus rm and then giving a command to it. So we can try that as well. I come back here to the command line, exit this container, and then here I just run echo hello, and I don't need the minus it, because now I'm not doing interactively. I'm just telling the container, do this, execute this command, and then quit. And this is what happened. So it executed the echo hello, which just prints hello, and it quit. So this was the first example that you could show the slide, and the second one was running it. Now here in this example on the slide at least, I also used the flag minus name ubu just to give this a container a name. So you might remember that when a container starts to run, Docker automatically gives it a name using two basically random words, which is funny usually, but then it's going to be hard to actually locate the specific container if later you would like to look for it. And that's not that important right now if you are also using minus rm. But in this example, I think we didn't. So actually, we're going to delve into this example in the next video, because now we are already getting too long. So just finish it with this command again, so that's what you can see. So here we run docker minus rm, so it will automatically remove the container at the end, and then inside, and here you can give all kind of commands. So go ahead, try this now before you continue to the next video to make sure that everything works for you. And then in the next video, we'll actually look around these commands, and we'll see how we can get back to the container after we quit. So see you then.